Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha and I am so excited to be here. I'm very hyper for some reason and energetic. I don't know why, but we're just gonna go with it and use this energy. Today I have a new video for you guys, Woman of the Bible, and today we're going to be speaking about Deborah. I am so excited to be, I can't even talk. I'm so excited to be talking about Deborah today because I just feel like she is so inspirational. She is someone that I want to be like and someone I feel like this world is in desperate need of. I also filmed a small tutorial on this look which inspires me, and I feel like Deborah would rock this while she was out in the battlefield, but that's a little bit later. So make sure to watch the full video so you can know how to recreate this look. So the story of Deborah is found in the book of Judges in chapter 4 and in chapter 5, and this is in the Old Testament, and we're talking about a time where Israel needed a judge who served as a deliverer, as a leader, as an advisor. And up until this point, the only judges that had served were all men. And I'm so excited because Deborah was a judge during this time. And it's crazy because Deborah was a wife. And usually wives stayed home, cooked, served their husbands, raised their kids, whatever. They weren't judges. This was so totally not normal. And it makes me so excited because it's like, oh my goodness, you know, a woman was leading Israel. Guys, this is huge. A woman was leading Israel. So she was a prophetess, she was a wife, and she was a judge. And some of the characteristics of her are really amazing, I feel. I don't know about you. But she was really courageous. She was really brave. She was wise. She was smart. And she was obedient to God. She was serving. And she stood her ground in a time where Israel was lost and confused and doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing. So God placed Deborah to advise them to do what was right, to prophesy to them, and to lead Israel, which I think is so cool. You guys are probably not as excited as I am, but I really am. I love this story. I love Deborah, and I really recommend you to read the full story. Basically, here is what basically happened. So God tells Deborah to instruct Barak, and Barak is the commander of the army of Israel. And she basically tells Barak that God wants them to go fight the Canaanites. God tells them that they are going to go fight the Canaanites who had been controlling them a little bit. If you read the story, you'll get all of the details. But basically, God wanted them to go fight over there. And she tells him that Sisera, who is a commander of their army, of the Canaanites army, is going to be delivered to Barak's hands. So this is basically assuring Barak that, you know what, you're going to destroy them and they're going to fall under your hand. But for some odd reason, Barak freaks out and he's not ready for this. He's scared and he basically needs Deborah to go with him, and he begs her and he's like,
please come with me. If you don't come, then I won't go. But if you do come, then I will go.
So Deborah, I'm sure, was like, are you serious? Deborah's like, okay, I'll go with you. And I think it speaks volumes about her because this wasn't part of her responsibility. This wasn't her job. She was just there to advise and to lead. She wasn't there to actually go fight the battles. So she's like, okay, I'll go with you, but know this. Victory will no longer be at your hands. It'll be at the hands of another woman. So it's like, whoa, you know. Now Barak isn't going to be the hero, now it's going to be a woman unknown to us. So they're like, fine. So the story goes on, they go to the battle, Barak and Deborah work together, she's advising them on like tactics and all of that stuff, and they're basically winning at this point, and Sisera runs away from the battle scene, and he goes and finds refuge at this tent. And this tent is a woman whose name is Jael, Jael. And she is a woman, she's married, and he trusts this woman because of friendly family relations. And she is very hospitable, she's very welcoming, she lets him come in, she gives him milk, serves him, lets him take a nap. Very, very nice. And then we reach a point that's very, very horrific. So he's taking a nap. She decides that she's gonna go outside. She obviously knows who he is. She goes outside, grabs a peg that's holding the tent down like a spike, and a hammer, and just puts it into his temple and kills him. That escalated very quickly. Later, Barak is searching for Sisera because obviously they wanted to kill him so that they could win. And he's looking for him, and he comes across the tent, and she's like, "Hey, come here, come look at what I've done." And he goes, and he finds him dead. And then, as Deborah had prophesied, the victory came because of a woman. And I just feel like this story is incredible. Like, not only is it about Deborah, the leader of Israel, but it's also about a random woman who God decided to use, totally random. And because of her, they won this victory. And I just think it's totally random because it just shows how God moves and God works in really weird ways that will always work towards his people's benefit. And I just love this story. So after this, in chapter 5, Deborah and Barak praise God, and they're singing and worshiping and all of this stuff. And for 40 years, Israel had peace. They had peace for 40 years, up until Israel again forgets about the laws, and then they need another leader, and blah, blah, blah. But this story is incredible because it just shows how amazing God is, and how amazing God is, again, because he didn't have to use women. He could have used men. He could have used whoever, army people, whatever. But he decided to use Deborah. He decided to use Jael. And fortunate Israel, who had these strong women, who had these women who were kicking butt. Deborah was incredible. Deborah really stood her ground in a time when people were really forgetting about God, what God wanted for Israel. And Deborah was there leading them. Deborah was there advising them. And I just feel like we really need more Deborahs in this time. We really need more women to rise up and be leaders of these generations who are so in desperate need of God. And I think it's amazing how God is raising up those Deborahs right now. And I just think it's awesome. I think it's great. I want to be like Deborah. I want to be used like she was. And I think many of us women need to be like Deborah. And I think this is really a warning to men. It's like, you guys are slacking a little bit. You need to pick up that slack, because us women, we're coming. And we're coming like Deborah, and we're coming like Jael, and we're going to defend God. We're going to do what he has called us to do, to serve our purpose. And it doesn't matter who gets in our way. It doesn't matter what happens. We know that God has already declared the victory, like he had already declared for Barak. And if Barak was scared to go out and get that victory, us women, we're gonna go and get that victory for our generation, for our people, for this kingdom that we serve in. I feel like Deborah was a very elegant, sophisticated, and poised woman, and she was wise, she was smart, she was intelligent, she was faithful, she knew God, she knew her purpose, and she knew what she was doing at that moment. She knew what her role was, and she was important for Israel at this time. And I just recreated this look after Deborah. It's a matte look that's very sophisticated, very simple, very elegant, and I don't know, I just really like it. And it's pink, simple lip, and we used a powder foundation, which is very lightweight instead of a normal liquid foundation, because I feel like she would have just been like, I don't have time for liquid foundation. I gotta lead Israel. I gotta go into fight Barack's battle and get Israel to win this battle. So yeah, I really like this look. I really enjoyed making this. I hope you guys really like it, and please enjoy. So we're going to be using these matte eyeshadows because I feel like it's very sophisticated, it's very elegant, and it's something a woman in position uses. You know, it's not a sparkly, smoky eye. It's something matte and natural looking. So we're going to start off with Free Spirit, and we're just going to apply that all over. And then we're going to use Force of Nature, which is a little bit more pinkish. And we're going to put that into our crease here. Then we're going to go a little bit deeper and use Dreamer. But so it's not a super intense look, we're going to use a duo fiber brush, and this is really going to sheer out the color. And just apply this on top of that pinkish color to really deepen up the look. And we're going to use the more dense brush again and use Multitasker, which is a little bit darker, and we're just going to put it on the outer side and blend it out. And that's it for eyeshadow. So then we're just going to curl our lashes. And we're not going to be using eyeliner just because I feel like that makes the look a lot more intense. But we're going to be using a brown eyeliner in our waterline. So just outline inside. After that, you want to use some mascara. I'm using a brand mascara just because I like how we're going with the theme. And apply it to your lashes. I'm going to use some concealer. And I like to mix these two and put that underneath our eyes. And to cover up my actual blemishes, I'm going to be using a blemish stick concealer, but I'm just going to use my brush and put that over my blemishes to conceal those babies. Now we're going to use our powder foundation. And I'm first going to just lightly press it in and buff it around. And then just to set our under eye, we're going to lightly press it underneath where we place that concealer. I'll be using this palette to finish off our face, and I'm just going to bronze a little bit. I wasn't sure there. And we're just going to warm up our face. Just so it looks even. And underneath. For my eyebrows, I'm just going to use a brow mascara. You can use whatever you feel comfortable with, but today we're going to be using this. So we're not going for a very structured, intense brow. We're just going for what's natural looking and what our brow looks like. To finish off the look, we're just going to use a simple nude, and this is just 08 from Rimmel London. So I'm just going back to blend out the eyeshadow again so that there isn't a harsh line there. And that's it. That's your final look. I hope you guys like it. It's very sophisticated, very natural, easy look to recreate, and you don't have to use the same products I used, but I did want to make this eye look very natural, very elegant and sophisticated. And I really feel like God is calling many of us to be modern day Deborahs, to lead our generations, to lead our nation into what God has for us, into God's will. And I really, 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 really hope you guys read the story of Deborah, and that it just speaks to your life, and that it helps you and it encourages you to be brave, to be courageous, to be a Deborah at your school, at your job, at your church, in your community, in your nation, in this world. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys enjoyed the story of Deborah, if you guys enjoyed this makeup look, please, please, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I have new videos every Friday, and there are lots of different videos, and I love you guys so, so, so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your love. And don't forget that we are all brothers and sisters, and we're just here to love each other and to help each other fulfill that purpose that God has called us to fulfill. And I've been speaking for a lot, so have a nice weekend. Have a nice day. Bye, guys.